Welcome to the Home of Grace for Women in Gautier, Mississippi. Today, I have the pleasure of sitting with Miss Shellene Barton, and we're going to talk about some things that are relevant to her and her history with the Home of Grace in this first video. And Shellene, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm pretty good. Pretty good.
This is a wonderful place to be, serving God here at the Home of Grace for Women.
Yes, it
and
is.
There's never a dull moment.
Never a dull moment. Never a dull moment.
I know that you've already had a crisis or two this morning without even asking, but anyway, I want to go back in time if you can, and I know that you can because you got a great memory. And you were here almost at the beginning of the Home of Grace. So when did you come to the Home of Grace?
I came to the Home of Grace over 40 years ago. At that time...
When you were 8 years old?
Yes, when I was 8 years old. Lot has changed in the past 40 years, but I tell you what, there are memories made that I will carry with me for a lifetime. A lot of relationships have been absolutely
cultivated while you've been here.
Right.
And I'm one of those. I remember when I came to volunteer at the Home of Grace almost 17 years ago now, that that's pretty much where I showed up at the old facility, down what we call down the hill on the creek, across from the chapel at the end of the road, and all of those cliches. And there's a two-story admin building, and it's still there now. It's not admin anymore, but it's just housing a few people that are down there. But I remember most of all, I've got several memories of that time, but most of all is within the first 1 or 2 visits that I had at the Home of Grace, and I was teaching a class at that time, and I went in your office for some reason, I can't remember why, and we got into a conversation about the clients and about things like how they could possibly put aside the needs of their family in lieu of satisfying a need for drugs or alcohol. And you shared with me a story that I have never forgotten.
Really?
And it was this. You told me that you were interviewing a client one time who had just come into the program, possibly filling out some paperwork or something, and he shared with you how that a lot of times he would get his paycheck on Friday and he would get it cashed and then stop off and spend the entire amount on drugs and go home, and there would not be any baby food or milk in the refrigerator, and the children would be hungry. And you told me that you asked him, how could you possibly do that? And I'm not going to put you on the spot to ask you what his answer was, but you told me that his answer was this: well, Miss Shellene, what would you do for your next breath?
Right. And
when I heard that, I sat there for a few moments, and to be perfectly honest with you, I believe that conversation was ordained by God, because from that point forward I've had compassion for our clients here at the Home of Grace because of that one statement. I understood for the first time how that could happen, because I've been in a situation where I was gasping for my breath in a work-related accident. So I want to thank you for that.
Wow.
Now, fast forward in time a little bit. You've seen a lot of things since you've been here, and now you're the director at the women's facility.
Yes. And
doing an incredible job.
Thank you.
I know, because I used to work for you here teaching and that kind of thing. And you're incredibly competent.
Thank you.
So as that person who is in charge of this facility, what are some of the real challenges that you deal with here?
Well, for one thing, Wayne, the first 20 plus years of working for the Home of Grace, I was at the men's campus. And when they asked me to come over in this capacity at the women's campus, it was almost like a culture shock for me, because it is so very different dealing with women in addiction than it is men in addiction. There's just a lot of differences. And so some of the challenges are how to maintain a program that is strictly geared for women in recovery, because you have a lot of aspects that you don't see playing out at the men's campus. And so for us, it's always trying to meet the current needs of the girls that are coming to us for help. Things keep changing. The drugs keep changing. There's so many things out there now that even drug tests won't catch. And so our counselors, they do an incredible job staying current with not only their training, but their methods of what they deliver in classes, their group sessions, their counseling. We have so many awesome individuals that come to this facility, just like at the men's campus. They're experts in their field, and they're willing to dedicate themselves once a week to come do what they are an expert with to bring to the women in the program.
It would be difficult to do all this without the community helping.
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely.
Almost impossible.
It is.
And certainly we wouldn't be as effective.
You're right. You're right.
Now, all your counselors are very well trained.
Absolutely.
Most of them, are, if not all, are certified, I'm sure.
Yes.
And so when a lady comes to the Home of Grace for Women here, and she's assigned a counselor, that is pretty much ordained by God who she will
It's incredible how that happens.
Incredible.
It is
I've
incredible
seen it
how that
happen
happens.
And it's the same with the men's facility.
Right.
But it's almost a perfect match.
It is. It is.
And the other thing that I wanted to ask you about is graduation. And the length of the program here at the ladies' facility is?
Same, 3 months.
3 months, okay. And there's a graduation at the end.
Yes.
And that's a big day, isn't it?
It is a big deal. It is a celebration. We say every week, it is a celebration of what God has done in the lives of the ladies that He brings to this place. And sometimes, as we know, they may initially think that the family forced them, or the judge, or there could have been a little arm twisting, but when they stick it out, they realize that it was a divine appointment, that God chose to set them aside for 3 months for such a time as this. And it's amazing to see the things that happen in 3 short months.
I received a message as a result of what we're doing with these videos a week or 2 ago from a lady in South Louisiana who was in my class, meaning of course that she was here at this facility, I think maybe 12 years ago. And she was thanking me even then for the classes, but she was talking more about the friends that she had made here in the program with the fellow residents of this facility. So that's another big thing, is the relationships that come from being here for 3 months.
Right.
Some of those are for life, aren't they?
They are. Our ladies, obviously right now they live in close quarters, And so many times, like you said, Wayne, when they've developed good, healthy relationships with each other, they can be such a source of strength and comfort, even moving out of the program. And at times when they just need somebody to talk to, we have a really good Women's Alumni Association as well. And so they have access to a closed Facebook page just for these women that can be another tool of staying plugged in for them. But some of these ladies come back every month, for the alumni night to share what's going on in their life and how the things they did well and the things they wish they could have a do-over after they left the program. But both of those things are very helpful.
They are helpful.
For ladies in the program.
Especially if someone's there who is currently struggling.
Right.
And fighting.
Right.
Against that addiction.
You're right.
Let me just ask you this, if I may. Is there anything that you can think of that we haven't talked about that you'd like to share that might help someone out there watching right now?
I think sometimes we hear from the admissions department that sometimes we get phone calls from ladies who maybe want to come into the program and they have challenges trying to get here, whether it is a financial challenge or who's going to take care of my children, or I can't leave my job for 3 months, lots of different things. And for whatever reason, it seems to be more difficult for us getting ladies into the program than it is men. We probably have a third number of women in the program than we do the men. And I guess what I would say is, if you need help, we will do everything we possibly can to see that you get here and get that help. At least make the phone call. At least make the phone call and let us do everything we can to try to get you the help that you need. Because a lot of times sometimes we'll have someone who comes and maybe they're only here a couple of days and they say, this is not the program for me. I know what I need to do now, and I'm gonna go do what I need to do. That's good in theory, and I think they're sincere when they say that. They mean that, but we know how difficult and almost impossible that is. You cannot fight this battle by yourself. You cannot fight this battle by yourself, and I believe with all my heart that you're going to be hard-pressed to find a program that is going to surround you with as many people that are genuinely going to love on you and care about you and do everything they possibly can. Fight for you even when you're not fighting for yourself.
That is so true. And again, we see it at the men's facility, the same thing. Shellene, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
I've enjoyed visiting with you. Most of the time we just say hello in passing and we're busy, but this has been great.
Well, thank you.
So
You've
much.
been such a blessing for the Home of Grace, Wayne, in so many ways.
Well,
thank you so much.
God has blessed all of us.
Yes,
That's what it's all about. Folks back home, thank you so much for being a part of A Cup of Grace today in our interview with Shellene Barton. And we'll see you next time.